now listening to the Sportz Nuts.
Hey, welcome to the Sportz Nuts. Yes, gosh, man, we're moving along at an epic pace. This is episode 129, or as Shane likes to say, it is Training Days episode 5. Man, we hope you guys have had an absolute amazing day and had a really good week so far. Shout out to my daughter Aspen. Today is her 1-year-old birthday. The girl has turned a year old. Oh my goodness, I kind of got a little emotional because, she is my last, and she still is the love of my life. And I hate that she's growing up, but I'm also happy she's growing up because then I can start having more conversations with her. My man's sitting next to me though. Shane, what is going on, dude?
Oh man, just enjoying life, man. Like I said, well, I told you earlier, been out here in the garden watering it, man, and I'm happy with the progress, to say the least. So, man,
Yes.
it's great. You know that we get to enjoy God's beautiful nature up here, and luckily it hadn't been too hot today. But it's coming. One last time, I think it's coming up here at least. But man, it's been great. I'm ready to get in and get with our guests and start talking about these teams today.
Absolutely. And yes, the heat is coming. The heat will be on starting actually this weekend. We're in excessive heat warnings. So yeah, no, I'm guys, I'm actually kind of over this this heat. I've been in the South pretty much almost my entire life, and it ain't ever getting easier when you have the balmy heat in there. Guys, we have so much lined up. We're talking the NFC East. We're having some NFC West opponents on there. We have our good friend Sergio Betancourt, who is going to talk to us about the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to have our good friend Seth talk to us about the Arizona Cardinals and the Washington Redskins. Shane and I are going to talk some Eagles, and we have a whole lot more. Our good buddy Adam is joining us to talk about the Seattle Seahawks. Just a whole lot of fun. Can't wait to get going. Without further ado, though, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman is the guy who puts this lovely show on the radio. Sergio, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing all right, guys. How y'all doing tonight?
We can't complain. Wouldn't do any good to complain anyways, right? Nobody want to hear it.
Nobody's listening.
Yeah, nobody's listening. Nobody cares.
That's right. Sergio, obviously, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to do this. And we're really excited to get going into this. But I got to ask, what has been the vibe around Dallas? Look, we know what's going on with the Micah Parsons situation, and Dak Prescott, and then of course the audio that got released that Jerry Jones danced with the devil. Everybody, if you haven't heard that, it's out there. But what's kind of been the vibe though around Dallas with regards to this team?
It's just one of those things where, I mean, how many years are we removed now from like real success? Many years, and I can't speak for all fans. I'm gonna preface it with, I'm 43 years old. I was 8-10 years old during the Super Bowl run. So I saw we peaked early. In my life I peaked early as a fan, and then it's all just been kind of going downhill from there. And we have our peaks and valleys where we think something's going to happen, and then it doesn't. And that's been the way we've been as fans for the last 30 something years. And I can't speak for all fandom, but I do feel like there's less buzz than there has been. And I think the last couple of years there's been less buzz.
This whole off season has been strange for a lot of teams. Has been good for a lot of teams too. But it is very well documented what's gone on with the city of Dallas, with the Cowboys. They haven't produced anything since the 90s. I mean, just think about this for a second. Over 30 years, really, since they've had the chance to see the Cowboys play in the Super Bowl. And, there's so many videos out there. There are so many memes out there just making fun of them. But, my question before I go to Shane on this next one is why hasn't Jerry gotten the checkbook out and said, you know what, Micah, we're going to give you what you deserve? Oh, can you hear us? No, we can't hear you. Your audio went out. Hold on. Let's take a look here. Mic volume. Say something again. No, we don't hear your audio. Your audio. His audio is out.
Yeah, something happened.
Yeah, something happened. Hold on, Matt. If you can you message Sergio because his audio has gone out? We can't hear him. Yeah, we don't hear you at all. You can't hear us?
He can't hear us.
You can't hear us. Okay. All right, hold on. Let's see here. Let's do that. Say something now. Still no? Okay, let's see here. Well, while we're waiting on that one, let's take a look here. Let me go to people. Move to stage.
Anything?
Can you hear us now? No, he can't hear us. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to message him right now.
Hey, sorry, everybody. Technical difficulties.
We apologize for that one.
Yeah. We try to sit here and talk and do all the technical stuff at the same time. So
that's right.
So please forgive us.
Absolutely. I just told him to log out and come back in. Sergio, if you can hear us, log out and come back in. Okay.
All right. We've had this issue before, so we know a couple little tricks of the trade.
Yeah, we've had this happen before. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, there you go. Now I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, that was weird. We were like, what in the world just happened? All right, Matt, we got him fixed on there. All right, real quick, why hasn't Jerry said, you know what? I'm going to write you a blank check right now, Michael. Like, what is holding him back?
I think it's just because Jerry doesn't want it. Jerry wants it done his way. I think it's an ego thing where he wants to be able to say that he did it his way. He doesn't like the way the NFL works right now, where the players have, they can dictate more than what they used to back 30 years ago. And I think that's some of it, is that he doesn't want to feel like his hand is being forced. He wants to be the one that comes up with that idea. He wants to be the one that says, I'm going to give you this.
What in the world happened again?
But I think that's what's been going on the last couple of years.
And this has been it's a very weird situation. Shane, go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, we've sat here and we've talked a good amount about preseason and some of the stuff going on in the off season. But I want to get your thoughts on realistically, where is this team? We've seen the additions of George Pickens into the offense. Give Dak a loaded wide receiver room. As Matt mentioned last night, though, you got to have some sort of running game. We see him kind of scrambling around to do all this, but realistically, what are your expectations and predictions going into this season?
I mean, I personally see us as like a mid-tier team. I don't think that the NFC East is pretty hard right now. You've got two teams that could potentially go to the playoffs from the NFC East, and I don't think the Dallas Cowboys are either of those teams. I think it's the Eagles and the Commanders. So I don't, I'm not real keen on. It's kind of a scary schedule that we have this year. We have the AFC West, which the West is not, that's not really a joke,
No, it's not. We've alluded to that quite a bit, actually. Like, this is one of and as Shane has said, it's going to be one of the most dominant, if I'm not mistaken, right, Shane?
Oh yeah, well, the AFC and the NFC all alike. I could see Dallas getting over that hump. With the NFC East and the NFC North, especially. You could see 3 playoff teams from this 4-team division making it. And same thing with the AFC West and the AFC North. You can see 3 teams from that division making it into the playoffs, just depending on how everything kind of lays out for them through the season and all. But, they, like you said, it's not a tough road to haul there in the NFC East.
Well, see, I really think you would get 3 teams out of the NFC North before you get them out of the East.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's, what I was saying is you could see, one of these 2 divisions possibly having 3 teams into the playoffs.
But, I mean, there's always something. Every year we've got something. As a Cowboys fan and as there's always just something. You're always just waiting for this other shoe to drop. That's the feeling that I've had most of my life as an adult Cowboys fan, is you're always just waiting for this other shoe to drop. We had that. Really, we've had that since Troy Aikman's been gone, which is 30 years almost.
That's a very long time.
I mean, we've had good quarterback play, but good quarterback play is not great quarterback play. And and there's not many great quarterbacks out there, and there's not many, quote unquote bus drivers that are going to get you to the promised land either. So not in this NFL, I don't think. So I feel like Dak puts up some numbers, but I don't think Dak Prescott is going to get you over that hump. I really wasn't a big fan of the signing. I didn't feel like we should have spent that much money. I don't feel like you spend that much money on anything, on any position.
Oh, you absolutely are. Let's do the floor and ceiling on this one. What is your floor record-wise for them, and what could be the ceiling? And then kind of give you a realistic, what you believe their record will be come the end of the season.
I mean, I really think the ceiling is probably like a 10 or an 11 win team. I think that's probably the ceiling. I don't think they're going to get much better than that. And I think the floor is probably 6-7 games. I don't think it's realistic. I mean, I think they're going to end up somewhere probably 9 wins. I'm not wowed by this team. There's nothing on this team that just tells me like, oh, we've just done so much to improve as a team. Yeah, I mean, it's good to have George Pickens. That's great. I think that's going to be helpful. But also at the same time, is adding that going to fix the running game? Is adding that dynamic going to fix Dak? The more injuries he has, the less mobile he is. The less, so whenever he hurt his ankle, whenever he broke his ankle, I believe.
His hamstring separated from the bone.
No, I'm talking about, was it 2020 when he got injured?
Oh yeah,
ankle,
yeah.
So when he came back, he wasn't the same kind of thrower because he just couldn't put that. I don't think he trusted that ankle as much to put that weight on it, and then he didn't scramble as much. So now you're coming off of a hamstring injury, off of a hamstring separation, and you're trying to tell me that there's not going to be something in him psychologically that's like, hey, maybe I shouldn't cut this way. Maybe I shouldn't run the ball. Maybe I shouldn't scramble. Like he already showed you that when he injured the ankle, is that there was something that made him very timid that season after the injury. And it took another season for him to kind of develop whatever his new norm is. So I think that's something we need to take into consideration, is that from a psychological standpoint, he's had an injury like that before. He's had a really debilitating injury, and not everybody is just going to hit the ground running 100 miles an hour and not think about that injury. I tend to think that he's more of the player that's a little cautious, there's just going to be that slight hesitation that maybe he won't do something that he would have done last year out of just, something in the back of your mind, like some fear. So I really think that's something to think about, is that, maybe he's fully recovered physically, but maybe he's not there psychologically. And maybe there's going to be some kind of hesitation that you saw the same thing after the ankle injury. And if that's the case, then you really won't see a fully healed Dak Prescott until next year. So,
and then who's to say he didn't have an injuries again this year that can compound more of that fear in the mind of thinking, oh God, like what next? And you're right. I 100%, I know for a fact, I've seen it. So many Cowboys fans are what's next? What is next for this team? And we see it. Shane, you have a question. Go ahead.
Well, not really a question. Sergio, before we let you go, man, I want to, give my appreciation and a shout out to you in believing in us in the first place, because you are the man of, Tiger Nation Live that airs our show. Man, I want to tell you appreciate it from us sincerely. And to all of our fans out there that listen through you, man, it's a pleasure having you on to talk about Dallas. But it's a pleasure to get to know you in the first place and have this partnership with you. And I want to let you know that from the bottom of our heart, we really do appreciate it.
Well, man, I'm glad to have you guys on. I enjoy the show. We get good feedback on it. You guys know what you're talking about. Which not every sports show can say that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I do want to point out one more thing that I was looking at. So
yeah, go ahead.
I started doing some research on the actual injury that Dak had. So there's a condition called chronic hamstring tendinopathy, which is essentially pain in the buttocks area. Like it's like a chronic pain that can happen when you have this kind of injury, because obviously the hamstring was separated. So that's something to consider too, is that the injury that he had, yeah, he's recovered, but it can also cause like a chronic condition in that hamstring. And that's something to think about too. Like when you were saying, is that, what's next for him? What's the next injury? The dude's broken his ankle. He's hurt his shoulder. He's hurt his thumb. Now he's hurt this, he's had his hamstring separated from his body. So, yeah, there is worry on my side. I'm very glass half empty with the Dallas Cowboys this year. Now, and I'm gonna, if they do amazing things, great. I'm glad they're doing it. But I don't feel like I'm gonna be like on the bandwagon and be like, oh, I rooted for them the whole time. I'm gonna stand by my guns and say I don't think they're gonna do a whole lot. If they do, great. But I don't want to be a bandwagon person and say, oh, I'm going to jump on it. I'm going to go to the games. I'm going to go buy more gear because I've been here the whole time. No, I'm putting it on record. I'm not going to be that fan.
And there's nothing wrong with that, because, I'm an Atlanta Falcons fan. We've seen a lot of heartache as of late, especially, the Super Bowl years of 98, 2000. They should have honestly gone in 12 as well. And of course, then the epic collapse in 2016, so we it's always that, well, what's next? What is next for this franchise? And it's stressful. I understand completely. Real quick, Sergio, where can everybody find you, sir?
So you can find us on TigerNation.live is our website, KFCE 95.5 FM. If you go to Facebook, you can find us KFCE 95.5 FM Tiger Nation. I think that's where we're at. I don't think we're anywhere else. You can find me on TikTok, Surge of All Trades, and On the Verge 972 on Instagram.
I love that TikTok name, by the way. Sergio, man, I really do appreciate this for you coming on and taking time out of your evening to talk with us about the Dallas Cowboys. Man, you have yourself a wonderful evening. And we'll talk to you again soon. Sound good?
Thanks, Sportz Nutz.
Yes, appreciate it.
Later, guys.
That's really cool that we had our good friend Sergio come on from the show. That he is the one that puts us on the radio. We absolutely appreciate him to the max. I am waiting for our next guest to come on. He is our gentleman for the New York Giants. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and bring our guest. Let me see if I can. I'm going to message Seth, let him know, because he should be coming on. Let me see. I had the hiccups. All right. So while we're waiting for our two guests to come on, this is we're extremely excited that everybody who has tuned in this entire summer series, it absolutely means a lot to us. I mean, we can't tell you thank you guys enough. Before we bring them on, though, let's do this, Shane. You and me. Let's talk a little bit about the Eagles. Obviously, the Philadelphia Eagles, man, like they
Go Birds.
they are, they're very good, very, very good team. And, they mollywopped the Kansas City Chiefs in the Super Bowl. I've heard a lot of people tell me this, and I kind of actually in an agreement, because you said this too, that the Eagles could realistically be the best, have the best odds to repeat, correct?
Oh yeah. Well, when we're talking about the Eagles, they have solidified themselves on kind of what Kansas City has, just a solid team atmosphere, and you've got a lot of people that don't leave there frequently, and you don't have a revolving door. It is the way you can kind of look at it. They've got a steady group of veteran leadership. Their offense and defensive line, which is, we say it all the time, championships are won in the trenches.
Yep.
If you don't have the line depth, and the actual star power on either side of the ball, then you're realistically not a contender. But, as I mentioned to you before we came on the show, barring an injury from a main contributor, say Jalen Hurts or Saquon Barkley, kind of barring those injuries, Philadelphia has a realistic chance to repeat this year. Probably the best odds since Kansas City might have won before they fell to Philly this past year, a couple of years ago. Realistically, they had some of the best odds in league history to repeat. And I think Philly's in that same boat right now. With that being said, Brandon, kind of what have you seen from them in their offseason and stuff like that, that you could say the same?
Jaid Campbell, the dude is a fantastic linebacker, great edge in general. The Eagles, they rack up on defense. They absolutely can rack up like nobody else. I mean, we saw, what was it, like 3 years in a row they were drafting every Georgia player imaginable.
And you see 3 years in a row.
Yep.
they've had
they have ruled the roost.
Defensive output there. So.
Yep, they ruled the roost. I don't know, man. I have not. If I had to point anything, it's the fact that Saquon Barkley is on the cover of Madden, and we know, boy, do we all should know this one. There is a curse called the Madden curse. It is very real, and that's the only fear I have really for this team is the possibility of a Madden curse, and how one-dimensional could this team be? They relied a lot on Saquon Barkley, but it's only one hit away from he could be done for the whole season. What are you going to do? Yes, you have good players all around, but that's the question. Will be the running game. What can they do if teams figure out we can shut down Saquon Barkley? What are we going to do in return? That's the thing. Now, realistically, though, for the floor and ceiling, I'll give the floor, Shane. You'll give the ceiling, and then you and I will both tell what we believe the predictions will be. The floor, I think, for the Eagles is 11 wins. I absolutely can see them. That would be in the worst, is they'll get 11 wins. What do you think their ceiling is?
Their ceiling, truthfully, could be 17-0. But realistically, as a sports fan and knowing ball, the way we kind of know ball, is I see their ceiling at 15-2 because there's still, throughout a 17-game regular season in the pros, you have your high school players and then the top 10% of those high school players go to college, and then the top 1% of those college players go to the pros. So, when you start looking at disparity between teams and all that, somebody's going to get a win on you. So that makes the feat of an undefeated season, truly remarkable in the sense on what the Patriots and the Dolphins did. The Dolphins finished it off, and the Patriots just one game they couldn't finish off.
Yep, the last one.
But I mean, as Matt mentioned last night, could that one put Eli as a first ballot kind of deal? So I think that realistically we're looking 15-2 for the ceiling. Realistically on the season, anywhere 14-13.
I say 13 and 3. I think 13 and 4. That was what I was going to say.
I give them that. And, it's going to be hard to say because if they're 13 and 4, they might still end up second in the division because Washington's schedule is, kind of a whole lot more favored towards Washington than the Eagles' schedule is towards them. So, I think that's around where we're looking, and I think it's going to be a great show, coming down to the end of the season, especially between these top two teams.
You're right. I mean, I think you and I both are kind of in the same ballpark. We both think 13 or 14 kind of that's a realistic goal. That absolutely is a very realistic goal. And I'm okay with that. Look, Jerry just said 12 and 5. So we're kind of in and then Brian, our guy Brian did say go Niners. He is the Niners fan. Then Jerry said they have a grueling schedule in December. Yes, they do. And then a gentleman named Matthew Hensley said, "What's up to you, Shane?" Look, it's going to be fun to see what happens, but let's move on to our next guest. So both of our two guests are of the division we're about to cover. They are in the backstage right now. So I'm going to bring them both on because I want to have a little bit of banter from both. Our first one, Seth, what's going on, man?
Oh, doing good. How are you?
I'm good, man. And then our guy, dude, ladies and gentlemen, the man sitting right here. Adam, what's up, brother?
Doing good. How you doing?
Good, man. All right. So like I said, I want you guys to give us some banter, some trolling kind of thing. Look, Seth is our Arizona Cardinals guy. You obviously are the Seattle Seahawks fanatic. I don't care who answers first on this question, okay? Can we see a formidable opponent come from the NFC West? Whoever wants to answer first, go right ahead.
You can go first if you want.
Go ahead, Seth.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, Rams are still trying to recover, I would say. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think about both the teams that aren't our teams right now, just to start it off. Yeah.
So you're kind of alluding to this might be the bottom side of the matchup or the mid-tier matchup?
I don't know.
In the West?
Maybe. I don't know. Because, I'm just saying, Seahawks do have some pretty good weapons. I'll be honest. I'm seeing the Cardinals as, in the bottom, just to be fair to my team. I don't think that we're going to get anywhere near a Super Bowl this year. I just don't see a lot of offensive weapons other than Marvin Harrison Jr., star player. You also have James Conner, who's always been a pretty solid pick, and he's got a good backup in Trey Benson. So, and Kyler Murray, he's kind of I don't know, he's not Mr. Dependable. I wouldn't put him as that nickname, but I think if I had to go with a floor and a ceiling for them, I would have to say 6-11. And then 9-8 for the ceiling. But yeah, I kind of want to know what Adam's thoughts are on the Seahawks.
Yeah, I've got really high hopes for the Seahawks. We had a top 6 secondary last year, and to me, it only got better. You've got Shaquille Griffin, ex-Seahawk, returning. Josh Jobe was a really underrated player as far as a lockdown player for the Seahawks last year. Actually had the second highest lockdown rating in the entire NFL. So you put that together with Devin Witherspoon, Tariq Woolen. It's a really nice bunch of players in the secondary. And then Really excited to see Nick and Marin Worry in camp. Hopefully going to see him in person a couple times over the next few weeks. But yeah, he could be potentially that Swiss Army knife for the Seahawks. Really just like that hybrid defender that I think Mike McDonald's been looking for since he came over to the Seahawks. Could potentially be like upside of like a Kyle Hamilton. He hits really hard. He didn't allow a single touchdown in coverage last year. So really high hopes for him. Big news with the tight ends is Noah Fant got released recently. So now you're going to see second-year player A.J. Barner duke it out with Elijah Arroyo, who the Seahawks took in the second round. So some things I've heard is Elijah Arroyo has really been pushing the safeties deep recently and just looks like that like mismatch down the field. And with Clint Kubiak's new offense, they're expected to run a lot of two tight end sets. So you're going to see probably a lot of JSN and Cooper Kupp on the field, but not necessarily a wide receiver 3 on the field many snaps. I love the linebacking core too. I won't lie. Ernest Jones and second year player Tyrese Knight, they looked like they're forming some chemistry down the stretch. Took a not so great group of run defenders and then started to round into form. Obviously, it came down to that final week of the season against the Rams, going 10-7. Both going 10-7, but the Rams ended up with the tiebreaker. So, I mean, I think the ceiling for the Seahawks could be winning the division. I'll say maybe like a 13-win ceiling, but that's probably hoping for a lot. And then I don't see that. I mean, we were 10-7 last year, and I feel like we got better. Some people worry about Sam Darnold a lot, but at the same time, I think it's kind of like maybe if nothing goes right, like maybe an 8-9 floor.
I can definitely see both sides of the argument. Shane, go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, Adam, I just want to shout out that Jackson Smith and Jigma jersey throwback back there. Man, yeah, I love it. Of course, the only thing that would have been better would probably been a Boz jersey of that time, just because of the nostalgia part of it. And I'm also reading Bo Jackson biography, so I got a good story on that one. But as you mentioned, you guys are bringing over Sam Darnold, and you guys are looking at a lot of 12 personnel for sure in the type of offenses. But man, one thing I alluded to in an episode, not on Training Days, but on one of our regular episodes, is one of the breakout stars for the season. Man, I have Kenneth Walker being a great possible standout this year and having a breakout year. Especially in the offense that that they're trying to build around Sam Darnold at this point. I just want to get your thoughts on that and kind of get your thoughts on what you're going to see from this offense in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more. I think with the offense, the offensive coordinator Clint Kubiak coming in, going to have extra tight ends on the field. There's definitely going to be a big focus on the running game. And Kenneth Walker, his only problem ever has been staying healthy. But, I mean, he's looked absolutely dynamic any moment that he's been healthy. And I've heard many whispers from people around the NFL. And, I mean, myself included, I think he's going to have a big year. Basically, yeah, it's going to boil down to the offensive line. But got Gray Zabel in the first round. I absolutely love that pick. You can play any position on the line. And then the rest of the line will be kind of shaking out. So those will be another interesting thing to look at over training camp over the next few weeks. But yeah, I mean, and to mention another one, Zach Charbonnet. He's one of the best running back twos in the entire NFL. Every time Kenneth Walker was down last year and over the past few years, he stepped up like an RB1. Really can do like everything Kenneth Walker can do. He might even be a little bit better of a pass catcher. And then brought in Damian Martinez, I believe it was round 7. So he's a really, really underrated player. But he was Cam Ward's running back last year at University of Miami. And when he was drafted, he basically said, I mean, was putting a lot of expectations upon himself, but he was saying that he's going to be beast mode 2.0. So, I mean, I love to hear that type of confidence for sure.
I got to go to you on this one, Seth. You kind of told us basic, but your first round pick, Walter Nolan III, he's going to miss training camp with a calf injury. This Arizona's kind of they have not really been that team that wows you since, gosh, you and I had this conversation. I think honestly, the last time I can really say the Cardinals were that sexy team was when you guys played in the Super Bowl against Pittsburgh. That's how long it's been. But what does the news today with the injury to Nolan III? What does that kind of mean for you guys as well? I mean, that's a very significant injury,
Yeah, I think losing your first strength like that isn't going to be good. I already think within the defensive, like Shane said, the games are won in the trenches. Super Bowls are won there. And I just don't know, like with that injury, I think it's going to hurt us even more. So, yeah, I'm finding it tough, like within the trenches to find somebody. But like defensive end wise, we are pretty good. We do have Josh Sweat. Safety wise, we do have Buda Baker. So I would say that we have some like decent weapons, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough to like get a wild card. But I do think that we could win like maybe 1 or 2 division wins because it's going to be tough, with Rams, 49ers. Seahawks are a very formidable weapon. I don't know if we're going to have that much going for us, but you never know. Like, we might have a lucky game there, see what happens.
Absolutely. Anybody can win at any given time. Adam, I'm going to ask you this. Let's do the floor and ceiling, like a realistic floor and a realistic ceiling. Obviously, anybody can say my team's going to go 17-0, and that's the ultimate goal right there. But, give a realistic floor and then give a realistic ceiling for the Seahawks.
Yeah, mentioned it briefly a little bit earlier, but I think realistic floor is 8-9. I think probably they're going to finish higher than that. But finishing 10-7 last year, I feel like they got better at the offensive line. We got better in the secondary. It's a lot more of just like that confidence and all that camaraderie that's been building for a while. The big question mark, I guess, will be is how does Sam Darnold perform? And it's not his arm strength. It's not any of his like physical tools. It's always the mental side of the game for him. So for ceiling, I'll say again, I think it's going to be 13-4, but realistically, like anywhere 10-7, 11-6 is, I think, like a very realistic spot to end up.
And there's nothing wrong with those records. It's perfectly fine, to kind of be that borderline, and everybody has said so many times that, the Atlanta Falcons are the most, wild card type team because, I mean, you could be a 6-win team. You could be an 11-win team. It's the same thing with the Seahawks. They could be a 6-win team. It only takes one injury that could derail an entire season. However, I do see, and look, our guy Ben just said, Sam Darnold fan club is present here. I'm still rooting for him. And, Adam, Shane and I know this. Shane, he's a Carolina Panthers fan. He saw what Sam Darnold could do. And, and what he did last year.
You mean what he didn't do?
Well, yeah, what he could do. It's what we saw, what he could do. And then we saw
that was
what he did for the Vikings last year was absolutely amazing. But, let's just, for bleeps and giggles, let's just pretend Sam Darnold wins you guys 14 games. I mean, it's a very real possibility. We're not discrediting him by any stretch of the imagination. It's going to be an exciting time for the NFC West, and we can't wait to see what the Seahawks do. Definitely can't wait. And Seth, I'm going to tell you this too, and I'm pretty sure you agree. This is a make it or break it kind of year for Kyler Murray. I mean, he's done just enough but he hasn't gotten over that hurdle that is needed to become an elite level talent, you know. But let's just say this year the Cardinals go 5-12. Is Kyler? Do you think that the Cardinals will move on from Kyler Murray?
I definitely think that they could. I do think they have a pretty good backup in Jacoby Brissett. I think that he does have a starting quarterback type of um, charisma to him. I believe that he could take up the mantle. And I think the biggest problem right now with Kyler Murray is they expected him to be kind of like a Lamar Jackson type of quarterback, but he just hasn't found that niche. And I think a part of that is the offensive line. I I don't know if we have the strongest offensive line, and that goes right back to the trenches. You know, if you can't get those trenches, like the big boys out there blocking you, and you're just scrambling all the time, and you never get any time in the pocket, like the game's not going to go good for you unless you can get, James Conner running like wild. You know,
Oh, absolutely. Shane, go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, as you alluded to it, kind of the biggest question around Arizona is what can the line do for Kyler to keep him healthy and keep it, kind of keep him upright. Although it be like 5'8", 5'7" kind of deal upright.
You would throw the height in there, wouldn't you?
Anybody shorter than me, I'm going to throw it in there. So, but anyway, I want to kind of gauge you. I know you kind of touched on it earlier, but realistically, floor ceiling for the Arizona Cardinals with the youth and kind of the pieces that they actually lost on the defense that not a lot of people are talking about. They actually lost a lot to the free agent market and all. So, I want to get your thoughts on that.
yeah, I think losing that depth, you really need that seniority. I think you guys were talking about the Eagles. I think that is one thing with the Eagles that they're also trying to figure out because I do think they lost a few pieces there. So it's basically the same thing with the Cardinals right now. They really need to figure out like who is going to step up for the team. I think this is really, even if it's Kyler Murray's last year at Arizona, I do think that the defense, even with like a 6-11, 5-12 season, they could figure it out on defense and be like a very formidable defense. So I'm honestly looking more forward to the defense side of the ball than the offensive side right now, even though I am looking forward to, seeing Marvin Harrison Jr. out there. And I'd even like to see, James Conner and Trey Benson like both have maybe not an equal share of like snaps, but at least give Trey Benson a chance because back when he was with FSU, he was kind of like a Saquon Barkley to them, where he's carrying the team on his shoulders. So, I do think there's some exciting things to see in Arizona football, but I do think we've got a long way to go, similar to when I was covering with the Jets. I do think that there's potential in the future, but it's going to take a while to see it develop.
Absolutely. And I hope that this could be, I hope things it can turn around from that point on. Seth, man, thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. I always appreciate having you come on, and we're gonna have you on again next week. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, Seth. You take care, man. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, you too.
All right, Adam. So we have you, man, and I'm beyond thrilled to have you on. For those who don't know, this is our gentleman right here, Mr. Adam, is
be joining us next Tuesday.
Yeah,
right.
We have a very big guest, and I mean super big guest coming on the 29th of July. We have John Abraham, former Gamecock, Falcon, Jet, and Cardinal coming on, and Adam's team actually inside the locker room is going to join us. Can you kind of give a little detail about your team, please?
Oh yeah. I mean, for the inside the locker room crew, sorry for my dog barking in the background. Obviously, I cover the Seahawks side of the thing, but we all kind of met by chance, and it's kind of really awesome that we've got Ben from the Jets. We've got Deuce covers the Cowboys, and he's in the Louisiana, Texas area. And then Michael is the Saints fan, and he's also in the Louisiana area. So we just kind of got many different like cultural aspects covered. We get many different divisions covered that way. Yeah, we're just a growing podcast, and yeah, really excited for the opportunity to get that interview in there.
Absolutely. We can't wait. And by the way, shout out to the 908 people who are watching tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. You know, this has become a regular occurrence. And Shane, you know this, and Adam, I don't know if you know this, but every episode we have had doing the Train Days has averaged between 900 and 1,500 live viewers. So this
awesome.
kind of
people are ready for football.
That's right. We were literally. I'm so excited. But guys, for those who don't know, Adam and I, we talk regularly. We are your hockey guys. Like, oh man. And
I mean, look, he's got the Barry Melrose going.
Yes, he has the Barry Melrose. Look, everything.
All right,
look,
I'll take it.
Adam is, he is a Canadian, so he knows hockey, folks. Canadian people, they know
All
hockey
sports,
like
baby.
the back of their hand.
Hey.
And we talk literally so much about the hockey world, the college athletic world, everything. So if you guys can, I want you right now, please help them out. Adam, tell everybody where they can find your show.
Yeah, you can find us Inside the Locker Room TV on both Instagram and YouTube. I have my own personal page on Adam B Sports, mostly on Instagram. I do a little bit on YouTube, but I've been mostly posting this stuff to the Inside the Locker Room TV account. And then, also on TikTok too. TikTok, we've had some good success, and we're right around 20,000 followers on TikTok. So, come join us on TikTok, and appreciate any of you supporting us, honestly.
Hey, this is just the beginning. And by the way, we are officially at 1,008. Matt, I called you Matt. Shane, this happens every time. Thank you again to everybody who's tuned in on that one. Adam, I appreciate you coming on, man. And
appreciate you. Thank you.
Our second guest is not here yet.
Well, she just came in. I believe two more guests.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got all the dogs making appearances right now.
Well, if I could, here, I'm gonna do this real quick. I'm gonna turn it around, turn the camera around. And yes, that's Stella.
All the dogs.
Just laying on her bed.
Here you go, boo.
And she goes, "What'd I do?"
Yeah.
That's
three of the four-legged kind, three of the two-legged kind.
That's right.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's right.
Johnny was definitely trying to make his appearance there.
Hey, nothing wrong with that one. Adam, when is y'all's next episode?
It's actually gonna be tomorrow. I think it's gonna be right around 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Central Time. Stay on those socials, and we'll get you updated on the exact time tomorrow. But should be a lot of fun. Gonna have a couple special guests on tomorrow, and mostly gonna be probably we've been doing all sports lately, but mostly it's gonna be probably NFL with a lot of stuff going down recently. Training camp's getting started, and then we'll do our MLB rundown towards the end as well.
Can't wait on that one, and hopefully you and I get some really cool news from a specific individual we are waiting to hear back from.
I hope so.
Keep me updated on that one. Sound good, Adam?
Of course. Yes. Sounds great.
All right, brother, man. We really appreciate you. We will talk soon. You have yourself a wonderful evening. And again, folks, please go and check out our guys. They have some fantastic content. Some of the like the best unbiased content you can find is definitely Adam and his team. Adam, we'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Take
sir.
it easy.
Man, all right, guys. So we're still waiting on our last guest. I'm gonna send him a message right now, and say you're the last one. But while we're waiting, Shane.
Oh no! While we're waiting,
Want to talk about some Commanders?
Commanders. But I wanted to bring up some other. The training camps are getting started now. A lot of teams today was the first full contact practice,
Mm-hmm.
as you mentioned earlier, we've already seen some injury news.
Yep.
Man, the Dolphins, they took a huge hit today with, I mean, he was, transported, airlifted out of practice.
Yeah, it's
It was pretty bad, and I completely drew a blank on his name as we started to talk about it. Man,
Burns
he's a solid offensive lineman.
tore his
For
ACL, believed.
well, and when a big man goes down with ACL, it's not good.
Nope.
You,
one of the
you,
worst.
you can attest to that, Brandon.
Yep, I can. So look, 2002, I was running a slant. I was a tight end, but I'm also a defensive end. I was the left end. Ran a quick slant, and the safety hit my leg. My leg went one way, and I went the other. Tore my ACL and MCL. Ended my entire career. So yes, when a big man, especially a lineman or tight end or even a defensive end, whatever goes out, oh yeah, it is absolutely horrendous trying to get back to the normalcy.
Oh yeah, and I say big man, and you're not necessarily a big man when it comes to the NFL. You're just a big man to me.
Well, so I'm 6'5". Okay, I am a tall guy. I was one of the tallest tight ends ever in the state of Georgia at that time.
Yeah, but still, I mean, you're talking about some larger individuals, of course. Yet, we're also talking about people who run miles a day and stuff like that. So they're more apt to come back from it from say a younger standpoint in your situation, or even a person in everyday life. An ACL tear or something like that can happen in everyday life. And you're not up to the strenuous activity and all that the NFL goes through. You're not going to recover the same way that they do. It's one of those things that we see, but with the miracles of modern medicine these days, it's. I mean, I'm a big baseball fan, so Dr. Andrews and everybody I think knows his name by now in the Tommy John era.
Yep.
But then also, what he's done with ACL and knee injuries. If I'm not mistaken, he handled Thomas Davis's last knee injury that he had, and for a guy of his age, a veteran in the league, and everything else like that, for him to recover as quickly as he did, and kind of come back to form and help Carolina to that run that they made in 2016. That's kind of miraculous in itself. And so, it just kind of puts in perspective what an everyday individual goes through, and then what a professional athlete were to go through. They go through the same surgery, but one can rebound in 5 months, one can rebound in 5 years. Kind of deal. So
You're absolutely, you hit the nail on the head on that one. Look, I mean, I mean, it's been over 20 years since my first knee surgery. I've had 7 total. And you're right. It's a lot of it also has to do with mentality. Like, I'm scared to get that hit again. And when you get a hit, it's going to absolutely hurt. And I mean, it hurts. But you just couldn't prepare for it.
And once you put that fear right back there in that
never
memory,
leaves.
It never leaves.
Never leaves.
So you're never going to have the same ball player that you did.
Yep.
So, and that's one of the biggest things that I think mentally that the pros are better prepared for, because of the help and all that they do get, compared to your average everyday person. When you have a major injury of some sort, be it anything, us as everyday folk, it's deafening. Hey, I can't do this ever the same again. I can't do this ever the same again. But yet, kind of the way that it's been, that we look at it as a general fan standpoint. I've never been a professional athlete, so I can't tell you how they think about it. But it's not this is going to hamper me forever. Is how long is this going to keep me off the field?
Yep. How long is it going to keep me from the chance to earn bonuses and milestones, that kind of stuff? It's ever real. It's a real issue in the mind. Speaking of like what's going on, we've heard our predictions for the Eagles. We've heard it for the Cowboys. We've heard it for a lot of other teams. But let's talk about the Commanders. Last year was an interesting season, to say the least, for them. And the Commanders, they were oh so close to being the representative in the NFC for the Super Bowl. And they really are a great team. But Shane, this. Dan Quinn is he's very good for the first couple of years. He gets the team to peak, and then it's by year 2 going into 3, they start that drop, and it's happened with every team he's coached. It really has.
You lost faith after the third quarter. That's
right. You absolutely do. But like this team, this Commanders team, there's so many questions. Obviously, we don't know what's going on with Terry. Is he going to sign? Are they going to sign him? Are they going to trade him? What are the Commanders going to do if Washington lets this happen? They're absolutely boneheaded for this, because he is an absolute and integral piece to them. But like, what have you seen that says that this team could obviously Jaden Daniels is a freak of nature. He's a fantastic athlete. But that sophomore slump is real. But what have you seen that could say the Commanders are going to do better than 12-5 this year? They could be a 14-win team.
It mainly boils down to the moves that they made in the offseason. They brought in a lot of pieces that they needed, be it offensively, defensively. I think that as you're talking about them having such a year that they had last year, it's kind of a freakish year that they had last year. They didn't, you bring in a rookie quarterback in the first round, and normally you're picking in top 10 again the next year, just because you don't have a lot of those pieces. But we're also looking at a team that has a potential to be one of the top 2 teams in the NFC this year. With the pieces that they've brought in, and be it that is signing Scary Terry back. But I think that Washington, they've brought in those pieces to say, we realize the sophomore slump is real. So let's build around this in a physically responsible way, in the first part of it, and then that competition on the field type of way, on the latter part. But you can keep these kind of pieces together, and then make another formidable run this year. Sophomore slump is real, like you said, but a lot of sophomores that come in as a rookie and do great, they don't have the issue or they have the issue of not having the talent around them at the time. So, Washington's put themselves in a great position. It's all depending on what they can put out on the field, but then it's all depending on if they can put Scary Terry back on the field. Because if you can't take the top off of a defense in the NFL, then you're not a formidable offense. And really, you've got to be 3-4 dimensional these days, the way that, people study the game, and get paid to do it I wish I could do it, but that's one of the things that you look at with this team, and you see that everything is there to move forward and not take a step back.
You're absolutely right, and Washington has done a lot. To really, burn bridges that they have with their fans. It's very real. It absolutely is real. But this team can be absolutely something special. Jaden Daniels, man, he is an absolute incredible athlete. I think we could see even more amazing things come about him. Look, Brian Pettit just said, I think Washington will be okay. They could be 11-6. He said 11-5, but it's 11-6. They're really good. There's a good chance for that. Absolutely.
Well, and like I said, there's a lot of hope in the NFC East and the NFC North to get those three teams into the playoffs. But with that hope comes a lot of competition in the division, and you got to play these guys twice. So that's 6 out of 17 games that you have to play these guys. With that being said, looking at it realistically, we say this, or I said this about certain divisions having 3 teams there. That's betting on these other divisions beating each other up. And so with the NFC East, I see, the Washington, Philly kind of rivalry becoming, a 1-on-1 series for both of them. So, hey, we've seen it plenty of times before as NFC South fans. The NFC South has never really been great as far as across the board. But if nobody's great in that division, they just beat themselves up, and only the division winner gets into the playoffs.
Yep, that's right.
So that's another thing that you got to look out for. But I think Washington's in a great position, and we all mess up and say it, so I'm going to mention it. But we have pressure from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue for Washington to bring the name back, and that's not only from that stance, it's also from a lot of the indigenous people's stance too. Like, this was a term of endearment kind of deal. So pretty soon we might be saying it again. Who knows?
Absolutely, you're right. Who knows on that kind of thing?
But go Skins.
Yeah, we're I'm sorry, but we're going to call them the actual one that we used to call them, and that's the Washington Redskins. It's hard to say Commanders. All right. So obviously, I don't know if our next guest is going to join, but we'll start the conversation. The New York Football Giants, man. Where do we begin on this one, Shane? I mean, They got Jackson Dart, and that's a great addition.
I can tell you where to begin.
Okay.
And this is going to stem off of their potential draft picks that they were going to go, because Cleveland has a crowded quarterback room.
Mm-hmm.
New York has a crowded quarterback room. So how can they handle that and settle the situation?
Just trade each other's quarterbacks to each other. That's kind of what I'm thinking.
Well, now I'll take New York's top 2 over Cleveland's top 2 for sure.
Yeah. We saw Brian Dable officially today announce that Russell Wilson is the starting quarterback of the Giants. So it's a good decision to get it over with now, instead of waiting and the land of what ifs. If you live in the land of the what ifs, you're just living in a fantasy land no matter what. This team, though, man, like, there's so many questions. There are more questions than there are answers for this franchise. And my question that I'm going to ask you, Shane, I don't think he is, but is Brian Dable the answer for the Giants?
I I see him as an answer for the Giants, in a sense that he has done what he could with what he was given. In the past few years, they've made some moves that haven't really given a GM or a new head coach much of a chance. And even this year, being in the division that they're in, and with what the division is already, you're looking at them as the bottom feeder in the division, and another contender for a top 10 pick in next year's draft. Duvall, he's a great head coach, in my opinion. Like I love his philosophy and everything. He just hasn't had the tools that have been made available, be it past draft decisions and trading away future stock kind of deal. But I believe he's a great head coach, not in the right situation.
I can see where you're going on that one. He is a good he's a great coach. He absolutely is. However, for people who don't know this, you're living under a rock. New York is one of the most fickle states in all of sports. You have the Liberty, you have the Jets, you have the Giants, the Rangers, the Islanders. I know I'm missing more. You have
the Nets,
the Knicks. Yes, you have all these major teams, but what do they all have in common? You make the fans mad one time, you're making the fans mad all the time. And the Giants, they did some good. They absolutely did some good in the draft. Some good moves in the free agency.
New York has always been, what have you done for me lately?
That is true. That is, boy, is that ever true.
And that's across any sport.
Yep. Absolutely it is. But you know what though? Let's just crack it up what it really is to be. Jackson Darts, I think, was a good move for them. I think that's an absolute no-brainer decision. It was a good choice. I'm going to do the floor on this one, and you do the ceiling, Shane. I think the floor for the Giants is 3-14. I really do. I mean, there's too many questions that have yet to be answered. They could absolutely, have a dreadful season, be 3-14. What do you think their ceiling could be?
I look at the ceiling to be quite positive, as far as disparity from the floor to the ceiling. I could possibly see them as 10 wins. It's, their schedule's kind of favorable, outside of the division, but then again, that's from years of being down. So they're not going to get really a lot of matchups, especially when you're talking about primetime matchups, as far as like Eagles, Chiefs, kind of, Detroit, these big games that are actually meaningful, that we've seen these teams do good for the past couple of years. But now I could see 10 wins. I mean, Russell Wilson is not a franchise quarterback now by any means. And he's not what he once was, but he is a great game manager and can get the job done as long as you have some pieces around him. The realistic expectation I see, at the most, 5 to 6 wins.
Well, look, Brian Pettit just said 6-11 is their floor. So, all right. So, Brian, it's actually, yeah, you're right. 6-11. So 8-9 would be the ceiling, because remember there's 17 games. It's going to be fun to see. Real quick, Shane, I see them. I'm going to kind of go in agreement on this with them. Oh, hey, our guest, Nathan, what's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
Hey, sorry guys. I'm also the PR manager for the show called Job of the Mouth with former Yankees pitcher Jobber Chamberlain. So I'm working the backstage at the same time for their show. So
no, you're good, man. We were actually just talking about the Giants, and I'm glad you're able to tune in. And like what we told people what we have seen, but what have you seen this offseason with the Giants that could, I see that as Brian Daboll's season is absolutely it's a hot season. It's a hot seat kind of season. But what do you think? What have you seen that could change the minds of many Giants fans?
Yeah, first of all, before I go there, I just want to give a shout out to you guys. You guys are the best, and you have a great show. And I'm glad that my team and I are helping you guys out when it comes to guests to come on the show. So, first of all, just want to give a shout out. I'm glad that we're able to help you guys out too.
Oh no, man! We appreciate you more than you know.
Yes.
Yeah, but to this offseason, I really like what the Giants did. Obviously picking up Javon Holland from the Miami Dolphins, I really like him. He's going to help out the secondary, and also I really like Chauncey Golson. Man, that's a huge pickup for them. Underrated pickup for the defense. Obviously a former Dallas Cowboy. He had a slow start to his career with the Dallas Cowboys, but he's been working hard throughout every offseason so far, and he's becoming a good pass rusher in this league. So that was a big pickup for them. And Javon Holland, man, this guy is a stud. And if you guys don't know who Javon Holland, watch some highlight tape when he was in Miami, because this guy can play. He can play ball. So I really like him in the secondary. And the Giants picking up those veteran quarterbacks. I like Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston. And obviously Jackson Dart is gonna learn from Wilson, and I'm happy that they chose Wilson, right? They got off the thing, so the starting quarterback is gonna be Russell Wilson starting the year. So I'm happy that they got that out of the way, so now they can focus on the camp. So, but I really like what they did this offseason. I think they should be a much better team. They got a lot of veterans on the team mixed with the young players. As long as they stay healthy, I mean, I think they can be in my opinion, a 9-11 win team in this division if everything goes well. But I really like what they did this offseason. I think they took a right step in the direction, and I agree with you. I think Brian Dable this is a pressure year for him, since now he has a veteran quarterback that he can lean towards, who's a winner. He brings a winning mentality from Seattle, obviously, that when he won the Super Bowl. So.
And Shane can allude to this too, is the Giants, there, and New York is always going to be New York. New York has a different viewpoint on all their sports teams. You know this. The North is vastly different. I mean, we've had our good friend Jerry who covered us for the Bills, and he's even said the same thing. Like, it's just something about the state of New York in general that it just hits differently, and I'm glad you kind of gave your predictions of like a 9-11 win type season. But, let's just say for bleeps and giggles that, this team comes out and they are colder than a summer day in Antarctica, and they start out 0-4. Does Brian Dable actually get his pink slip then, or do they wait a little bit longer?
That's a great question. I think. I mean, Owen, obviously, this. If they start the season 0-4, then definitely there's some kind of there's some discussions they have to do. But I think they're the type of team where they could ride it. I think they're gonna ride it a little longer with him, and if it gets to, like, for example, 0-8 or 9 or if they go winless 0-12 like that, that's when maybe they're gonna pull the plug. But 0-4 for me doesn't see the pull the plug yet. But if it gets to where they're like 1-8, 1-7, or 0 something, then I can definitely see them pulling the plug there. But I feel confident in Brian Dable, and we did a football camp last week with Tommy DeVito, and Brian Dable showed up to our camp with Tommy DeVito, and for him to show up like that, it means a lot, because he still believes in Tommy DeVito too as a quarterback, and for him to show up to the camp and see what he does there with the kids, and that means a lot. So, and Dable, he's excited, and we also had the McCarty twins there too at the camp, because both sons were in the DeVito camp. But But the big thing was Dable showing up. That means a lot. But 0-4, I don't see anything happening. But if it gets worse than that, then I'll predict that he gets the plug pulled.
What do you go ahead, Shane? You have a question? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, well, I love it. I love it. But you know, it's great that you mentioned the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Here for the Giants, as we mentioned just a little while ago, the quarterback room is extremely crowded, kind of like the Browns are right now. But you know, in that quarterback room, you guys probably have one of the best motivational, like I'm going to say, best off the wall motivational speakers in that locker room, and Mr. Famous Jameis, as I like to call him. But you know, kind of, can you give us a little bit of insight on you know, kind of other veteran guys that you guys have brought in that kind of change the culture for these younger guys that are coming in?
Yeah, are you talking about generally or the quarterback position?
Just generally,
Okay.
you know, it's mentioned because you guys brought in Russell and you've got Winston there, but just kind of in general, you know, the way I see it is they were trying to change the culture there, and so I want to get your thought on that.
Yeah, that they are definitely trying to change the culture by bringing in winning mentality players. And Winston obviously brings the funny side to him. Like, I don't know if you saw during Super Bowl week, he was trying to be the media guy, doing all the interviews, being fun.
Him and Bert together, were hilarious.
They were absolutely.
So that's I love what he brings to that side of the game, and obviously he's shown that he can be a good, valuable quarterback on the field. So that was a great pickup for them. And Russell Wilson was a no-brainer. I think they needed that that leadership at the quarterback position. And I mean, obviously, I want Tommy DeVito to get his chance eventually. But for the Giants, in order to take the next step, they needed the two-headed monster at the quarterback, and they have it now. And obviously, I like the running back room too. And look for Tyrone Tracy to take a big leap this year to get some big carries for them. So I'm looking forward to that. But
be quiet. I'm trying to take him in fantasy.
Oh, but the Shane, to answer your question, I like they are definitely changing the culture here. I think they're going to be more of a what do you call it? They're more. I feel like this camp they're more focused, and there's something different about this team than any other camps they had. We were at last year's camp, and we didn't see any of those, like the qualities we see now so far. So I think this year's team could be something special if everything goes right. I'm not saying I'm not going for it right now, but I'm just saying this team could be something special. But they have more leadership now, more winners on this team, and the culture. It seems like the culture is definitely changing here, and I like what I'm seeing here so far.
You know, one of our guests just asked me to ask you, who do you think will have a breakout season for the Giants?
Okay, that's a good question. I like that question. And actually, I'm good friends with most of these Giants players. And there's a guy named Amir Smith-Marset. He won the Super Bowl champion with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he's known for his kick return capabilities. He's a wide receiver. Watch out for him because this guy can help them in the kick return game if they want to get the quick score. He's capable of doing that, and I can see them putting him in packages this year on the offensive side with Russell Wilson, maybe putting him in the slot or doing some trick plays or something. That's a guy that could have a breakout year. Another guy is I like here is what's it called, Micah McFadden, the defensive player. He's a good he's an up and coming player, great player for them. And there's a lot of great Jalen Hyatt. I'm looking forward to seeing Jalen Hyatt to take the next step. I feel like he needs to. This is a big year for him with Russell Wilson now on the helm. And there's a couple other guys that I like, but those are the few players that I'm looking forward to seeing take the next step. And but they do have really great young talent here. And like I said, we know most of them, and we've done events with them, and they're great guys, great group of guys. And like I said, I can't wait for them to start already.
Oh yeah, and we're all biting at the bush. I mean, just look at it this way, man. After next week, you have football until February. Like, how fantastic is it to know that the 31st of July is the Hall of Fame game, and then you have week 0 and all these other weeks of college football and 18 weeks officially of NFL, and just it's so good to say football is back, and we cannot get any more excited than we already are. If you can, let everybody know where they can find you, please.
Yeah, so you guys can find us on Instagram, Twitter, NRmedia50_ on Instagram, NRmedia50 on Twitter. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn. We're everywhere pretty much. So, and thank you guys, everyone, for all the support. And we got some pretty cool things lined up. Stay tuned. And also, we got some pretty cool things lined up for your show here. So stay tuned for that also. But yeah, man, this has been a treat here. And like I said, looking forward to seeing my guys kill it with the Giants and the Jets. So can't wait.
Yeah, and
yeah. Well, and I want to say, shout out to you guys for helping us out. Man, you guys have been a complete game changer for us. Yes. Especially in the wave of guests and stuff like that. And we're extremely appreciative of it. And I hope you hear our shout outs because man, especially with Matt last night, that was a great one.
That was fantastic.
Man, we do appreciate anything and everything you throw our way.
Yeah, man, we absolutely, from the bottom of our hearts, we appreciate you. We are thankful for you, man.
We're working. My team is working on more for you guys, so stay tuned.
We can't wait for that one. My buddy, man, my brother, I appreciate you. I want you to go enjoy your evening. I know it's about to be 9:00 at night Eastern here, but I want you to have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk soon. Sound good?
Yeah, thank you. And sorry, guys, I was late again, but
good.
But working the backstage of that other show. But yeah, so and please, everyone, subscribe to the Sportz Nutz with Brandon, Shane, and Matt. They do a great job. Subscribe, like, share, follow. Do anything you can do here, please. And they have a great show, man. And this is awesome. And thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. We'll talk soon.
Yeah.
Sound good, brother?
Appreciate it.
Definitely.
Yes, sir. Guys, what a fantastic episode. And indeed, it was, man, like this is what it makes it all worth it for us, Shane. And you know this. We're beyond thankful for everybody who tunes in. We are thankful for all the comments. Obviously, we're doing something right because we had a good amount of viewers tonight, and we cannot wait.
Old slang term, I guess you could say, is we get a little giddy because of it.
That's right. Look, next week we have our final episode of Trading Days with the Sportz Nutz. And Shane, we kind of know already who we saved the best for the best division for the last. But let everybody kind of know what. Look, he's even kind of hiding it there, but not really. But let everybody know like what episode 6 will be about, please.
Oh man, episode 6 is going to be kind of like our episode 4. It's only going to focus on one division, and that's our division. Being based here in the Southeast, we've got to pick a team of the NFC South to kind of go for. We know Brandon and Matt have theirs, and
you better know who yours is too, folks.
Yeah, we know mine. And as the Canals Kool-Aid man said today, people are going to be surprised. So, man, I'm ready to get into the banter. It's one of those things. May even, which is going to be a surprise to Brandon and everybody else out there, is another one of our former guests is probably going to come on and talk about it because he sips on that Canals Kool-Aid as well. So, Mr. Jody Goodwin is probably going to join us next week.
Hey, Matt, goes 9-7. I'm gonna save that for next week because
yeah, we'll save it. I've got it back here, and some of these thoughts back here, they've got a strange way of making it right here and eventually right there. So we'll have to see on that one. But definitely everybody come join us next week for our final episode, night before the Hall of Fame game. It's going to be our closure to this series, but probably not the last in the series as long as we make it the next year.
That's right. I can't wait for that one, man. Like, I mean, you guys just heard we have our good buddy Nathan's going to try and he has a lot more guests lined up for it. I can't share with you because there's some pretty prominent individuals, and I promise you though, you're going to want to have your popcorn ready. They are some absolute amazing people there, and I'm beyond excited. Then we have Friday. This Friday coming up, we have our good friend Marty Schneider. She is of NFL Films. She is going to join us and talk to us about football, and we're very thankful that she has agreed to come and be a part of our episode. We really do appreciate it. And then the ultimate episode is about to take place next Tuesday, July 29th. We have a joint collaboration with our good friends Adam and Ben and Deuce and everybody that's a part of the Inside the Locker Room TV podcast. They're gonna join us. We have John Abraham, guys. Mr. John Abraham, the Intimidator himself, who played with the Jets, played with the Falcons, and the Arizona Cardinals. Yes, he is joining our show. Can't wait for that one. So for all of our guests who came on and helped contribute to this episode, we greatly appreciate it. But Shane, what do you tell everybody, sir?
Oh man, it's amazing the timing of things, because I've got the TV on, Angels in the outfield, and they just won the pennant as we're closing the show. So it's kind of a great scene, to see everybody like, hey, yeah. And hopefully all of our fans are with us next week when we do it. But man, as I always say, may the good Lord bless you. And peace, love, and bacon grease.
Peace, love, and bacon grease indeed. And we cannot wait to talk to you guys on Friday with Marty Schneider of the NFL Films. As I always tell you guys, peace up, A-Town down, Wise, the greatest sports state ever was. You guys have a wonderful evening. We'll see you on Friday. Again, quickly, happy birthday to my beautiful daughter, Aspen. I love you, baby girl. I'm so happy that you got to have a fantastic day with daddy and mommy. And we can't wait to celebrate with you this weekend. And yes, Brian Pettit just said it here. Be safe, be kind, and love each other. You guys have a wonderful evening, and we'll talk to you on Friday. Enjoy this outro, and good night.